Good morning from Quarantine Central. First thing you'll probably notice is I shaved, and that's because I always shave for really important life events like my marriage, the birth of my son, and voting in a presidential election. So you get to see more of my face today. I'm not sure that's a good thing, but you get to see more of it. Let's talk about your assignment today. In a little bit, I'm going to go through a slideshow about Chauvet Cave in France, and it's all about cave paintings. But what you need to do today is you need to click on this. You need to, and I probably also sent you a copy of the notes in your email. And you're gonna, as it goes along, if you need to make a copy, okay? But as it goes along, you're gonna fill these in digitally, okay? You're gonna write your answers in the blanks, okay? Then all you're gonna do is at the end, you're going to turn these in. That is gonna be your assignment for today. It's pretty straightforward. So this is an assignment. Grab the notes, watch the video, and then hand in the notes for your assignment today. Please don't forget that this is not actually due till tomorrow at midnight because I am taking today off. I'm taking Wednesday off. So if you have any questions, feel free to email me, but I will not answer them until Thursday. This is my Super Bowl. This is my my favorite day of every 4 years is a presidential election, and they don't call the presidential election usually till 3 or 4 in the morning. And this one might take like a week or two, but I'm staying up to watch the coverage, so I will be sleeping anytime you email me tomorrow. So it is due Thursday at midnight. I would still suggest you get it done on Wednesday, so you don't have a ton of work to do Thursday, but it is not due until Thursday at midnight. Email me. I will get back to you on Thursday. All right, let's get over to the notes. All right, we're talking about prehistory in Unit 2, and it's all about how do we know what we know. And the truth is it's a lot of educated guessing, but we're going to talk about different types of artifacts. And one of those artifacts is cave painting. Some of the earliest artifacts we have is cave painting. And we're going to talk about what we can learn about prehistory from the cave painting, and we're going to talk about the kind of the best example of cave painting we have, and that's at Chauvet Cave. Chauvet Cave is in France. And it's a perfect specimen because it was untouched. The enemy of all paintings is light and wind, and the enemy of all artifacts is time and wind and sun, etc. So they get weathered. Chauvet Cave was unweathered. So let's talk about what happened. So this is actually kind of a picture of an area right around Chauvet Cave down here. We had a bunch of hikers. They're called spelunkers, and a spelunker is somebody who explores a cave. And so in 1994, Jean-Marie, that's a guy. In French, Jean is like John. Chauvet and his friends were exploring. That's why it's called Chauvet Cave. The guy found it, and they were looking for caves. That's what they do. They do that for fun. They go exploring. They take their equipment and they go and find a cave and they map it out. They find a small breeze coming out of a rock, which is usually an indication of a cave. They clear away a bunch of debris. Come on. And they enter what was supposed to be a small cave. It turns out to be a massive, massive cave. And that's a huge find, but they don't even know what's in there yet. So they leave, come back the next day with everything they need to explore the cave, because finding the cave is one thing, exploring it, totally different set of equipment. They come back with everything they need to really, really not dig out the cave, but dig in and get in there and find what's going on with the cave. They didn't think they were going to find artifacts. Their joy in life was finding a new cave, being the first one to explore it, finding how deep they can get and mapping it out, and then sharing it with the world. They didn't know what they were onto at the time. But once they get into the cave a little bit, they find these amazing paintings. And these we're going to talk later about how old they are. But these were hand drawn, and we're going to talk about how they did it. But look at just real quick. I'm going to let you pause it and see how many different animals you can pick out on this painting and how well they're done. These are 3 different areas of the cave and 3 different paintings. So see how many different animals you can pick out on this painting. Go ahead. So some of the coolest things about the painting is how realistic they are made. What they cared about on the animal. You'll notice they don't do such a great job with the legs and stuff like that, but they do with the face and the horns. So one of the things they have to figure out is, are these a bunch of art students from 10 years ago, or are these, as they appear to be, thousands and thousands of years? So what they do is they take a little bit of the uh, materials used to make the paintings, and they radiocarbon date them, which is we're going to talk about later, is a cool way to figure out how old an artifact is. It doesn't give you an exact date, but it gives you a range. And they find out that these paintings are 20 to 30,000 years old, and that obviously is prehistory. History starts, it depends on the civilization, about 6,000 BCE to 4,000 BCE. And this is way before that. So we have prehistoric artifacts. They didn't have writing back then, so this is the closest thing we have to writing. So they end up mapping out the whole cave, and they find all kinds of different cool things in there. Physical artifacts, different paintings. It's a huge cave system. And so these become the oldest paintings ever found by humans. And they're not only the oldest, but they're the most pristine that have probably ever been found, that are, from an early time period. Obviously, we can find a pristine artwork from yesterday, but of the ancient samples that we have, they're in fantastic shape. So now that we know that they're really old, we got to figure out what we can learn from them. Okay, what made these so perfect and able to be studied and able to be learned from is the cave had somehow been preserved. The enemy of all art is light, weathering, and humans, and all of them had been blocked because the somehow the entrance to the cave had been blocked by like a rock fall or something like that. So nobody saw it for 20 to 30,000 years. So they find these perfect examples. So what can we learn from them? Well, we can learn what they used at the time period to make them. We can kind of learn their techniques. We can learn what was important to them. And one of the interesting things about the cave paintings are they did a great job with the animals, and the humans were stick figures. So we know that what they hunted was really important to them. What food they got. We can learn by taking actual carbon dates of some of the materials. We can learn what woods were in the area at the time, because that can change from 20 to 30,000 years later. And they were using ochre, which is something that wasn't really common in the area in today's world. So we know they were getting it from somewhere, or ochre was more common back then. But it's a reddish mineral found in the earth. It's this guy right here. They're really cool paintings. We found cave paintings all over the world, and sometimes they're just doing that thing like you did in elementary school, where you like make a turkey and you go around your hand. And they were putting their hand on the wall and then putting the paint over it and kind of taking a picture of their hand. And from that we can learn that humans haven't really evolved in their hand abilities over time very much. We don't really know why they made the cave paintings. It might have been just to memorialize what they hunted. It might have been like, these are the things that are killing us. It might have been revering the animals. But we do know that there's no sign of habitation in the cave. So the people weren't living there. So it's probably quite likely they were going there to make these paintings revolving around some type of sacred ritual or something like that. So this was probably just a big cave used for meetings for something else. So there's a certain amount of reverence attached to the cave paintings. We don't know much else, and that's how prehistory works. Is we learn what we can, we make some really educated guesses, and then if we don't know it, we don't act like we do. That's how archaeology and anthropology works. Now, if you see enough cave paintings and you're an anthropologist that's seen 1,000 different cave paintings, you start to notice similarities and stuff like that, and then you can start to make bigger guesses about who made them and stuff like that. And that's really the key to archaeology and anthropology, is those people are specialists that deal with thousands and thousands of artifacts, so they kind of know what they're talking about. All right, so finish those notes, and then go ahead and hand them in this Chauvet Cave Note assignment, and then you're done. Okay, and we'll talk more about cave paintings and artifacts at a future time. Good luck to you. Don't forget, due Thursday.